yo. My elite, so we are, bring our money back. My elite, so we are, we want our money back. My elite, so we are, bring our money back. My elite, so we are, we want our money back. That's so people go silly for 100 people. All our name contract of who we carry for people. Continue one for people, we all are police people. That kind of story my people will listen to. So they're not going to school, not bring the 60 billion. Black people fall in the street, bring the 60 billion. Paper people in the ring, bring the 60 billion. Musicians they're not benefiting, bring the 60 billion. We want a 60 billion, so they can have the road. We want a 60 billion for people in Logato. We want a 60 billion, see heroes again with people. That's why it's not a show. My fucking director, my elite. So we are, bring our money back. My elite. So we are, we want our money back. My elite. So we are, bring our money back. My elite. So we are, we want our money back. Fighting for culture where I was 60 billion. That's on that any bonnet for back where there's 60 billion. Now they're telling me it's stop for the 60 billion. Then you can tell us we not get no 60 billion. Now making fun of what can we fund at 60 billion. Go what for the limit, stop on many comments. Go what for security, the flying will continue. My elite. So we are, bring our money back. My elite. So we are, we want our money back. My elite. So we are, bring our money back. My elite. So we are, we want our money back. Yeah. MC Carol, I'm saying bring our money back. Start that shit in feature.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. Hold on, excuse me. Let me get my volume correct before I get this double volume back up. I don't need that kind of stress this morning. Okay. Oh Lord, I hope I don't get this problem this morning again with the hackers trying to hack me into oblivion. Thank you. Testing. Good morning. I can see there's something wrong with my I think this is coming under my speaker program, but it's all right. Let's get this show on the road. Today is July 24th, 2021. We advance into a new day with the same problems in our country, with the same situation in my country. It is hard. It is very, very hard for some of us to understand what's happening in Liberia. You know, we try to make heads or tails of our situation. We try to really understand what's the essence of all this disturbance, disruption, unruly behavior. We're trying to make sense of it. Because from 1980 to today, from 1980 to this very day, our leaders have been our problems. Our leaders have been our problems. And we cannot blame it on the Congo people, the country people. We can't blame it on anybody. We are the cause of our own problems. The Congo and the country. And this has to cease and desist. This backwardness got to stop. This greed-filled existence got to stop. This stealing and corruption and lies and deceitfulness got to stop. We've been through this for nearly 200 years now. Our Independence Day is 2 days from now. How long can we keep on this path? How long can we keep hoping that Liberia will one day mysteriously evolve into the nation we want? We keep dreaming and hoping, and the reality is before us, and we keep letting it slip by. Why? Because we know the truth. We're not stupid. We sit and talk about it every day. But when we see the money, when we see the power, we get greedy. We run amok like idiots, like dummies. Look what's happening in Liberia today. There's no need for what's happening in my country today. There's absolutely no need. And you know it. You all know it. But it's all about greed. It is all about false money, false belief, false power. It's all about this. And we destroy our country. We destroy our lives. We deceive each other. And we keep on this trend forever. It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't lead us to any better existence. So why do we keep on this one trend? Why do we do that? You know, it hurts me that I have to come every morning and talk about the same usefulness, uselessness. It hurts me. But we got to face it. Every time you turn around, there's something wrong that don't make sense in our country. Our leaders do things that cause themselves to look bad, to look so greed-filled and useless. Then we go talk about it. You got their followers on the other side telling us, why the man can't do this? Why the man can't do that? The man never had money in the beginning. Let me tell you something. There are very, very few Liberians who are rich. And all the people you see in government, none of them rich. They stole the money. They stole the money. I hear people praising Benin US so much. Benin US stole the money too. And they all got to account for it. As long as their hands in government, they got to account for it. Everybody in the New Republic from Ellen Johnson to today got to report for it. Because when we came out of the war, we punished Charles. Well, we came out of the war. We still had this confusion among us. We chose Ellen. Yes, Ellen not supposed to be our president. No person of mixed race can rule Liberia. Liberia is a nation for free slaves. And only Negro people can rule Liberia. Because Liberia is a gift from our white fathers to us for the enslavement and the punishment they did to us in the West. So that's why when we placed in our Constitution that no white man can own Liberia, it was done at Cornell University in America by white people. They put that in our Constitution, and we kept it there to protect us for our land, so that if we decide to make white people citizens of Liberia, we know the full consequences of what we're doing. That's all. There is no hatred about why white people can't become citizens of Liberia. There's no racism in that. White people put that in our Constitution at Cornell University. Go read Liberia Past and Present with Richardson. They put that in our Constitution because our first Constitution was drafted at Cornell. And when they did that, they protected Liberia for us because we're a new experiment. We were the real experiment. America was the democratic experiment. Now we were the black experiment in Africa. That's what makes Liberia so great. The first democratic republic in West Africa, in Africa, came from Liberia. The first Christian nation came from Liberia. So we are an experiment still that must succeed. And there's no bad game or racist game in why white people can become citizens in Liberia. No, there's no racist game. The only game that is in that is that we want to preserve Liberia until at least 60% of the Liberian people can read and write. Then they can sit to the table and decide to open up Liberia to every race. But until we reach that percentage, our lives in our country is at danger. Because right now, look at Liberians. They won't sell Liberia to Lebanese. They won't sell Liberia to Indians. They will sell Liberia to anybody. And it's not fair to the rest of our indigenous brothers up country who cannot read and write. And that's why that law was put in our Constitution. So that before any white man becomes citizen of Liberia, any Indian man, any Lebanese man, any Chinese man, we can sit to the table as men and women of intellect and decide to open up our country to the world. Then we can't be held responsible if our country is overrun by Lebanese and Indian and foreign people. We can't be. But until 60% of our people can read and write, Liberians of Negro descent are the caretakers of the Republic of Liberia for our brothers and our children of the future. So that's why I tell even my brothers and sisters of mixed race who are Liberians, we are not against you. You're our brothers and sisters. And you have a duty just like us to protect Liberia from foreigners, from people outside the Negro race, until 60% of our people can read and write. As our brothers, that's our duty. It's nothing against your white fathers or your white people. No. is to protect us from enslavement, neo-enslavement, neo-colonialism, neo-bullshit that will impugn us and keep us down. That's all I think our law for. We hate nobody. We don't hate anybody. But we deserve the right to live. We deserve the right to enjoy. We deserve the right to pursue our individual happiness as Black people on our own continent. We're all wearing foreign wigs and dressing the foreigners. We can make that decision ourselves. Look at our people. We marry white women. We marry Indian women. Nobody's stopping us. I remember one of my brothers in Rhode Island wanted to marry this fine white girl, but he was scared because he was thinking about culture thing. So I told him, I said, why you not marrying this girl? He said, well, man, I know your people. I said, you might know your people. I said, you better marry your girl. Love ain't got nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race. So it's not based on race that we're doing our laws. The law that stopped white people from being citizens of Liberia is just to protect us until our brothers and sisters can read and write. Then they will make that decision. All of us will have that right. But right now, as it is, with only 5% of our people can read and write, it's not fair to the rest of our people. And we are protectors of the future of our posterity, of our children, of our people. We protect their future. And look at our future right now. Look at how the Indian and Lebanese in Liberia just overrunning our country, enjoying everything and not giving a damn about our people, stealing our properties and saying it for them. And they know they're not for them. So when we deal with this kind of dishonesty, when we deal with this kind of racism, when we deal with people who come with privilege and think they can overrun us and break our people down and steal our rights because they got money and wealth more than us, there's a problem. And we need to secure our future for our children so they can sit down and make that decision to say, yes, we want to marry our white sisters and brothers. We want to bring them in our nation because we understand that they know that they come, we're going to be partners. Nobody superior more than the other person. Nobody greater than the other person. We're in this hall together. And you want to come join us, come join us. Don't come be our masters of our superiors, our bosses, and yell at us and call us dogs and all kind of things. No, that's why we'll be trying to prevent in our country. How many Lebanese people there yell at our people and call them dogs? They did that to me. But when they do it, we have to show them we're the leaders of our country, not because we dress like this. Because they come out to our country thinking that being dressed like this is a curse to us too. No, it's not a curse. This is our culture. This is our culture. And we cannot be demeaned by our own people and culture. So when foreigners come into our country, they must understand they are guests in our country. They are guests. And for too long, we have turned against our own people and our nation for petty change, to satisfy other people, to get more than other Liberian people. And what has it gotten us? Nowhere. Nowhere, nowhere, nowhere. So we got to reevaluate ourselves. We gotta sit and reevaluate our time. Because every time I tell you all, they'll say, oh, Chesson for the all that the same people that had to play it. But you know, Chesson don't take no shit. They know it. That's why I'm not a billionaire, Lebanon, you there. I'm not a rich man like these other people running around here. Because people who know me know I don't play that crap. I don't play that crap. You know? And I don't care whether you white, black, or yellow, or brown. Injustice is one place of injustice everywhere. And that's why I protect other people's rights. My rights demand protecting too. I fight to save other people. I demand being saved too. And you see, it doesn't matter whether a white man, black man, our own Liberian people deceive each other, betray each other, sell each other out for petty change. That's why you got to be strong and say, hey, the left hand offend me, I will cut it off. And be ready to die on your own. Be ready to leave Liberia and go somewhere for your future. Because nothing in Liberia, that's why we're suffering so much. Nothing there. And the few things that are there, only one group of people won't have it all the time. And if we cannot overhaul our country and our system, what people stay in Liberia for? Leave Liberia, go to Ghana, go to Sierra Leone. You stand better chances in no country where you can speak English. And you come from Liberia because you learn the hustle fast. We run the hustle. We run the African hustle anywhere in Africa. But you got to understand the game, man. You got to understand the game. We are a smart people. We are a smart people. No matter where you're from. Once you're from Liberia, you're smart. We are the melting pot of the Negro race. We are the melting pot. Everybody that is from black in the world ended up in Liberia. Everybody that got Negro blood in them ended up in Liberia. So we're fussing amongst ourselves for nothing. And that's what we feel all the time. And that's why we need a strong leadership. A strong leadership to set us on the right course, on the right trajectory, where we need to be. There's no reason for us to be where we are now with all this shenanigans and stupidness and dumb and BS and stealing, deceitfulness. There's no need. But when we demean ourselves to these standards, they become our plight. So, excuse me. That's why we need to overhaul our entire country. We need to overhaul our entire system. We don't have to do it through a military coup. No, we don't have to do it through a military coup, but we can do it through the people rising up and saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. We need strong leadership. We can't advance with the kind of leadership we got. We can't advance with the kind of leadership we got. Let me start my lesson. My first topic, who's got opulence? You know, Ellen Johnson said we were talking about opulence and all that kind of thing. The opulence thing still going on. So who's got it? Okay. Number 2, to be the press. To be the press. The fourth estate. And number 3, can Liberia survive Liberians? You know, I keep touching on this topic. Can we survive our country? Can we survive ourselves? Let's start our topic. Who's got opulence in Liberia? This word came up with Ellen Johnson Sally. When she came out and said, Joe, we are then living in opulence and all of that, then we are got mad and you say, oh, mama, you just know about opulence. All that time you're there, you know about opulence. So this opulence is a word that was revealed to us by Ma Ellen herself. Now, it's a word within every corner of our society. You can see opulence, 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 opulence. We're going to love opulence, 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 opulence. We're gonna see opulence. I'm gonna see opulence in the land. Oh Lord, we're gonna see opulence, opulence, opulence in Liberia. Who got opulence? Who got opulence? Who got opulence? We gotta find out who got opulence in our country now, because there's one word being thrown around so many times. By Mama Ellen, by Papa we are. Now we're seeing it all over. Deeds and not words. You see how the people change our whole system of education? We're talking words about building up our country, and these guys are showing us deeds of how they're stealing, how opulence has taken over. Opulence, opulence in the land. Oh, my Ellie got opulence all up in our faces, slapping us. Opulence. So yeah, we are with this opulence thing, you know. And all the native born are going crazy, my man. Look at the Koji. Doria got airplane. No president in Liberia ever had their own private jet. Oh. Even if Willie wanted to travel, he would travel with Air Liberia. Air Liberia was taking there. But that was the people airline. That wasn't Willie private airline. So I kind of did a footballer. Now he got private jet. All of them got building schools, Fala School, Sir Johnny Ambulance. Nothing for Liberia. Nothing for Liberia. Oh, we are dying every day. Oh, my people, we're dying every day. Oh, people, we die. You see the fire coming up behind. We die. Oh, opulence is killing us. We dying. Oh, we dying. So let's get back to this opulence business. Here we are with this opulence. Oh, well, they need the board and got opulent plane, got jet. Oh, the Congo border, they're the millionaires. They're the millionaires and the balls of money, boy. You hear Lobo talking about, you hear John Lobo talking about, we are about better than you are in wealth. I'll be just sitting there and say, damn, they can't know better than you than this. Shit, they kids just know better than you got this man. He said, oh, SIM card was $25 and $60 one time. We had to buy a SIM card and nobody else was doing it. Better than you were getting all that money. Jesus, come back here. Jesus, come back here. My people confused. Do, 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 do. My people confused. Da, 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 da. My people confused. My people confused. Da, 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 da. Come back here, Jesus. Oh, 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 Jesus. Come back here. My people confused. Da, 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 da. My people confused. Nah, nah. Come back here, oh, Jesus. Let's get back to the topic. So now, when I hear all this building here, all the boys just rich. I don't see no rich men in Liberia. As this is all hustlers who that steal from the Liberian people. And I ain't rich themselves. There are very few rich Liberian men in Liberia who fought for their money. Government has been the foundation for every wealthy person in Liberia. Either their grandfather stole it or their great-great-grandfather stole it. Or some kind of connection. So, I really don't know. I really don't know where we stand on all this foundation of opulence. Where all this thing carry us. Our poor country is the only source of wealth that every Liberian is being exposed to. So where did all the opulence coming from? You ain't own nothing. Everything you own is for the Liberian people. Look at our country from head towards a pop. Everybody been stealing from the little leopard. Cutting there, chipping there. Then the leopard grew to LSM. Then we chipping there, chopping there. Then it won't grow some more, but we can't let it grow. We just chopping it. The elephant say, oh, let me grow. No, chop it. So we got pygmy elephant forever. Then we got pygmy hippo. We just chop the thing. Huh? You know, what kind of thing is this, man? And we can't get tired. We can't even take a break. Our people dying. The nation falling apart. We still chopping and chipping and chipping and chopping and nipping and cutting and chipping and chopping. I mean, the elephant going down to the bone, we still chipping and skinning the thing. Fillet. You want fillet the bone. We just fillet. Our country only bring us starvation from death now. We dead, then we still filleting. Everybody come, they want fillet. Look at the port management. Took us steal $200,000 with ease. And they say they catching them, nobody can catch them. Everybody just fillet that meat, fillet. But these are the things we face each and every day. These are the complications that make life hard in our country. Everybody can't just chop, man. Everybody cannot just chop. And you expect the country to survive. Everybody can't just chop. Then you expect that we'll move to the next level. How can we do that? So let's talk about this opulence. Let's talk about this opulence. And for our time today, let's talk about McGill's funeral for his mom. Because this is the big thing in Liberia now. A man in our government building a house for his mom, lighting it, having guards, air conditioning, everything in it, gold casket. Thousands of Liberians or hundreds of Liberians showing up to the funeral amid a COVID-19 emergency where people have been ordered to stay out of the public, that only few people can attend funeral services. The very McGill, who's the implementer of the laws of Liberia, is the very man violating the laws of Liberia. Where did McGill get the money from to do all of that? To bring people from Ghana, to build a tomb overnight, to bring the casket and everything. Where does all this opulence come from? Display of opulence. People say, oh, if the man got the money, he can do that. Does the man have the money? Does McGill really have the money? And this is the thing that kills third world countries. We stand up for these criminals that we see enriching themselves of our own coffers, of our money, of our wealth. People who didn't have nothing. When they come to government, they got everything. Then we sit there and say if the man got money, let him bury him out. Where you get the money from? Then we'll complain about opulence. Where they get the money from? Where did McGill get our money from? And they say he got guards there. Who paying the guards? The same people that are supposed to be protecting our interests are the same people hands involved in every corrupt practice in our country. Partners in every business in our country. They're so wealthy from poverty. They don't know who they are no more. Why? Why? I can't understand it. Because our people struggle to build our country, man. Yes, we've had rules all our lives. But some people did something good for our country. Some people made sacrifices for Liberia. And forever and ever, we've been neglecting all these devoted people that serve our people well. Look all through Africa, man. Our continent is not advanced because of people stealing. But the reason why I try to say I'm not involved with all other countries, because charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. And anybody who cannot fix their own country, won't fix other people's country, you will die needlessly. Needlessly. And if those who want to fix our country don't enlighten our people, don't make them patriotic, loyal, and devoted, they will be killed. Because our country cannot change if everybody running behind money and not patriots. Our country can change as long as we do not have patriots and loyalists. It is useless going back to Liberia to help our country to change. It will not change. Because if all everybody thinks about is the hustle, and not Liberia, it will not change. And right now we are all about opulence. Everybody in Liberia is about opulence. There are very few people truly about Liberia. Truly about Liberia. And many of those people don't know how to lead Liberia. Don't know anything about leadership. Even you put them there, they will end up the same way. Because they will need these corrupt people to lead them and guide them. And that way you can't resist corruption. Because corruption corrupts other people. And we got to understand the game. It's all about money. Look, I didn't know that thing in my life. I didn't know it. I didn't know it in my life. Everything I ever did for anybody, I never expected nothing back because I always thought it was a Christian thing to do. But as I grew up, I learned that the world is not like that. It's a tit for tat world. It's a tit for tat world. And don't forget that, young children. It's a tit for tat world. Nothing's free. Nothing free. And you better understand that and know that. Nothing's free. And if you think things are free, you hurt yourself. See, because sometimes with me, people do things for me, I think it's free. It's not free. You got to pay for it. You got to pay for it. So you better know what you're getting. And you better know how you're getting it. Because some people don't think like us. I'm an innocent thinker. I learned the hard way. But I still like it that way. Because when I do things for people, I don't expect anything back. No, I don't. I really don't. I don't. But other people, when they do things for you, they expect things back from you. You will learn the hard way. Nothing's free. Nothing's free. Even your loyalty, your voice, your friendship, nothing's free. Only a few people like me honor those kind of things. Honor helping people that I don't want nothing back. Because as a Christian, I don't look for my reward on earth. No, I look for my reward from God. I don't want nothing from man on earth. That way you see the kind of man I am. And people mistake me. I'm not that kind of man. When I help people, I help them from my heart. I don't want nothing back from you. Ask anybody who knows Chesson. If I say I would do it, I would do it. If I take something back, I'm not doing it from my heart. I'm not doing it because you're my friend. A friend does not take anything back from another friend. You call me your friend and you do me a favor and you expect something back from me because you did me a favor. That's a business deal. That's a business deal. So let me tell you, life is funny. That's why you got to understand your roots and where you come from. When you understand your roots and where you come from, and you believe wholeheartedly in what you stand for, life will not be easy, but it will not be hard. That's why you got to find your foundation in your faith. Everything is about faith. It's about faith. I can't tell you what to put your faith in. I can only guide you. That's why I don't tell people too much about what to do in their religious life. I tell you about what I know, what I believe in, what I accept as mine. But I can't tell you what to do because everything lies on free will. It lies on free will. I can tell you do this, do that, but you must learn yourself to develop that faith. And only you can move that thing forward. So all of this is understanding where we stand. And when we understand where we stand and understand what we believe in, then we'll know who we are. But until then, all of us in the wilderness searching. We're searching. And the good will be rewarded, the bad will be punished. That's how it works. We're in this world searching. And we can only achieve things if we all have the same consciousness. That's where democracy comes from. When we all have the same consciousness in what we believe in. On this earth, not in heaven, not into the breezes, but on this earth, what do we believe in? That makes us who we are. So I'm taking time with this opulence because it brings out who we are. You know, and I want you all to know that not everybody rich. Not everybody rich. There are few people rich by the sweat of their brow. You know what I mean? Read your Bible. By the sweat of your brow shall ye eat. That means you will work your ass to death. How else will you sweat? How else will the sweat set in your brow that you gotta flick it out? That's work. Hard work. And some people gotta do it. Some people not scared to do it. Other people cheat to do it. Cheat for what they got. They can't work by the sweat of their brow. That's why you see all these cameras and all these things. Because they're weak. Okay? And I spend enough time on this topic because I just want to bring to your consciousness. You got to work to be wealthy. And most of our people, what kind of job in Liberia to make people wealthy like that. What kind of jobs you got in Liberia? Even the payment of the president, 100,000 plus. You can't get rich on that kind of money. You got to pay taxes. If you're an honest man, you got to pay your children's school fee like everybody else. So it's a burden on anybody else. Yes, you live well, because not every finger on the hand is equal. Men are equal, but not equally equal. So some get more pay than other people pay. But the equality comes in when you work for what you worth. That's why when you go to college and get a degree, you're paid differently than people who never went to college, because we pay on what you're worth. So it's the same thing with equality. We're all equal. We're all entitled to rights. We're all entitled to human dignity and pride. But if we all do not exceed in the same kind of education, we cannot achieve the same things. And that's what we got to understand. And that's why there's a duty on those who know more. To whom more is given, more is received, more is expected. Because you went through and achieved more. You can't achieve it on your own. Society made it conducive for you to facilitate your education. So when you get all these things, you know that you didn't get it on your own. You didn't do that on your own. Because when you go through a system that has been set up by the people, you are indebted to the people. You are indebted to the people. So all of that, we see that Nigeria got the FSSG program and all those programs for students. So if you want to achieve something, you have to give in something. Now, for education, you got to pay for it. It's not free. They say, Joy, we are going to say free education, all that. We don't know the extent of those education, of that education. We don't know whether it's successful or not. Because there's too much deception, too much untruth. And that's why our country needs overhauling. Because we need to make records of these things. So when we say this is a percentage of our country, blah, 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 we have the records to prove it. And there will be standing records. We need to build archives. We need to have one or two or three major libraries. So, I mean major libraries. We can have smaller libraries, but we need major libraries where people can access anything they want for education. And those will not be small libraries. You see, so these are many things we need in our country to come up to a wholesome functioning society. And we can get it. We are smart people. But we are also greedy people. We are greedy people. And that has to be curbed. That has to be minimized for us to achieve. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Even the old man Ellen Johnson Sirleaf got opulence. If she didn't have it, she wouldn't give our nation to a high school student. Knowing that this man cannot lead our country anyway, and the noise in the market cannot lead a wise man to seek the destruction of his country by giving it to an idiot. So she didn't make the sacrifice for Liberia. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf failed us, both spiritually, mentally, intellectually. She failed Liberia, and we got to accept it. People say, oh, Ellen Johnson did this. Ellen Johnson started a war. And she couldn't resurrect Liberia, and she still can't. And she's the cause of all this useless BS going on in my country. And she gotta face the plate and take the spanking like a real woman. You fail, be a woman. Step to the plate and say, I failed, and bend over, let's spank you. But you won't fail and turn it on a little idiot that George Weah. A little dummy thing he going to heaven by taking your position, not knowing he's going to face hell because you set him up for it. But these are the things that make our country weak, that make our leaders weak, that make us fail time again. We can't do that. We can't do that. To each his own. And we got to build our own. We got to stand on our own foundation and know where our convictions and beliefs must lead us collectively. So these are all things we got to consider. And I will leave that topic with that, okay? My second topic, to be the press. Why they call it the press? Because in the olden days, everything was done on press, on the press, printing press. Psh, psh, psh. So they call them the press. That's where the name came from. You got to press the thing on the thing to make the paper, to make the newspaper. You all know the olden days, how they used to run the thing. So that's why the press, all these people came from. All the names came from. The name Third Estate came from some British man who was comparing the press and its significance to the three branches of government. Why? Because they believe that the press informs the people. And the press also serves as a link between government and voters. So that's where the Third Estate came from, or the Fourth Estate. Because the press by itself is an entity. Because it takes news from the government and informs the people of what the government is doing. And at the same time, informing the people is forming a link between the government and the voters, where they will know how to learn, how to vote, and interact with government through the information that is fair to them through the press. So the press becomes a separate entity by itself, an estate that governs truth, that governs justice, that governs social functioning by disseminating information from the top down and from the down up, that forms that link between the voters and the government. So you got to understand what all these things mean and the significance of them to you, either as people of the press, of society, people that receive the news, the voters. And that will make all these things so significant to us. And the press has to be the foundation of honesty, sincere reporting, trustworthiness. That's why the foundation of the press come out. And people can say, oh, we trust this newspaper. Because everything they report, 95% of the things they report is true. Sometimes everybody can't be truthful. Everybody can't be truthful all the time. You can't govern your reporters and their ambitions. and their desires. That will make people corrupt. That will make press people write false reports because they got their own interests. Okay? And that's why our press is guided with editors and editors and editors. Because somewhere along the line, you want people to question the veracity or truthfulness of the reporting. If you have different editors who are smart and cognizant of the law and rule of law, one of them will question it. Have you considered that? Don't you think this is against the law? Let somebody find out about it. That way you got people working in the press, with the press, that are legal-minded, even lawyers. So when there are instances when the press needs legal advice or legal intervention, they know who to send those things to. So the press is a very significant instrumentality in maintaining law and order, peace and stability in our country. And you see right now, we don't have that many press people in Liberia that we can trust. Who can we trust? So these are decisions Liberian people have to make themselves. We in the diaspora cannot make them. Even though we can look at newspaper and say, yeah, I like the newspaper because most of the things we read can be true. They demonstrate on a bigger scale that the reporting is truthful or truth. There's a difference between truthful and the truth. Okay? The truth is the bare truth. It's truthful. Means there are circumstances of error that may exist in them. But for the whole part, you can trust it. But when it's the truth, it's the bare truth. You can't change it. You can't twist it. You can't add to it. It's the truth. So that's the difference. When people say something is truthful and something is the truth, okay? Truthful means you can rely on it to a greater extent that it may be the truth. But when they say it's the truth, it's the truth. So you got to understand all these things. And our press is expected to give us the truth, for us to rely on what they're telling us so that we can make informed decisions. We can make conscious decisions. Everything is not 100%. But at least there's a certain degree of truthfulness that the facts may be within there. There may be error, but the error is not sufficient enough to measure up to or even override the truthful nature of the message. So once you understand those things, you know how important it is for our press to be free, for our press to be not corrupt, for our press to give us the bare facts. So we as a people who trust in our press and support it and uphold it can make good decisions. And these are the essences of why we have the fourth estate. Why we have a press that must be truthful to maintain peace and stability among us and in our society. Because if the press is corrupt, if the press is bought, if the press is one-sided, our country will risk continual instability, continual claims of they say that are not true. With the help of the press can keep us in check, especially our government and our officials of government. So this is what is important with the press. And sometimes we take the press for granted in Liberia. Sometimes we take the press for granted. You know, like this phone TV the other day. And people who watched it read my reaction to it. Phone TV is a news entity. It's a news and community entity. And Tomlin George was doing a good job taking people's views and things like that about McGill funeral a few days ago. Then Stanton Witherspoon came on and started talking that people in Liberia calling him all over the place, saying not right, they're not right. So they took the show off the air. They didn't take it off the air. He came on and said they should stop talking about McGill funeral and all of that. But you see, McGill funeral is a public matter. It's a public matter. And if the press is going to get into it, we got to discuss the nature of the public and its feelings or input or comments about the funeral. Because you cannot have a show where people call in and talk about what's happening, and you say, "Oh, well, you can't talk about this. You call, but you can't ask this question." No, because just for watching the movie itself, there were concerns, there were bitter feelings, because you could see the unfairness right from the on-go. You closing people's funeral homes, you closing people's funerals, and telling them they must go home, they can't have plenty of people. Then we see a government official funeral for his mom in broad open day with all these people gathered around. This is not right. This is not right. He could have had a closed funeral where only friends and relatives would be invited. You know that. He got the power to do many things. But he chose to do what he did so the world could come and see it. And this was against our laws. This is against the protection of the Republic of Liberia and the protection of Liberian citizens from diseases. And that just shows that it is true that our government people don't respect our people. They don't care about Liberian people. Because it would be an outrage in America for the president to violate the law as that when you go around closing other people's places and finding them and doing all kinds of things. So our press take got to grow. Our press take got to get conscious of the fact that they cannot be mistaken as serving the one group or the other group. In fact, these groups should fear the press and want to stay away from them. But it's hard in our country. It is very, very hard in our country, in a small country like that, where everybody related some kind of way through marriage or through friendship or through some kind of way. And you gotta cease and desist. We can't go on like this. It's not right. It's not fair to some citizens. And we can't continue to justify it in any way, manner, or shape. It's not right. It gotta stop. A hint to the wise is sufficient. We've been through a war. We've been through massive killings. We've seen so much blood in our country, and we can't go on with it. That's why we all must take the precaution necessary to free our country of corrupt leaders, our country of suspected murderers, suspected or suspicious murderers. We got to hold our leaders accountable. That's the only way Liberia will change. We got to make our leaders know that we own you, we own you, we own you. And you tell us you're going to do something, you better know how to be president. If you don't know how to be president, we're coming after you. And George Weah has not learned this yet. George Weah has not learned this yet. And this is why our country is so up and down. Because there's no one to send George Weah a loud and clear message that Liberian people are not having this BS any longer. Final topic. Can Liberia save itself from Liberian people? My people, our country is for us. Our place on Liberia is our country. Our country for us. Native, Congo, Banja, Uloja, whoever you are, Liberia for us. We can choose to stand up for it and fight for it together, or we can choose to take tribal sides and let our country suffer and die. No name calling, no bitter feelings, no useless talks can help our country. Only patriotic Liberians can rise to the plate and help Liberians. We're not little children. You call me Congo ass, Congo fool, I don't care. I don't care. But I cuss you back, you better don't care either. Because that's the way the Congo rolls. The cookie Congo rolls. So when you get up and you can be a man or woman with tight, tough skin and don't be acting like they're children when people call you Congo or native, and stand up and rise to the occasion to do what you got to do, then we are having patriots and loyalists who understand the price they must pay to be Liberians. There's every price you got to pay. Nothing's easy. Nothing's free. Nothing's simple. You got to get out there with a mind that you want to learn and produce. So to be a Liberian is a struggle. It's not a hustle. It's not a hustle. It's a struggle. And the time of the Liberian people, it's not. My class is done. Aluta. Continua. It's difficult to come here every day to teach. But it's something that must be done because I am an elder of Liberian society. I am an elder of my young people today that want to lead. And they got to understand leadership is not a joke. Leadership is not fun. Leadership is the demand upon you to be responsible, to be dutiful, and to understand that the lives of millions of people rest on you, and you cannot fail them. You cannot let them down. You cannot take their lives for granted, nor can you mess with the children's livelihood and daily bread. the time of the Liberian people who are patriots, who are loyalists, who are ready to see Liberia overhauled and changed is now. Aluta. Continue. Have a good day.